Welcome to another special edition of Strange Planet and another update with my ongoing journey with the blue bottle here. I guess I'm about 8 weeks in now with Asea, this remarkable redox supplement, signaling supplement that really supports health at the cellular level. And I've mentioned before, my baseline, pretty healthy. I just celebrated my 59th birthday, touch wood, no aches or pains. But here's what I have noticed. I'm having the most lucid, profound dreams. So I'm getting some heavy, heavy REM that I have not had in many, many years. And of course, we know how important REM is. It's restorative. So that's helping. My energy levels are just through the roof, which is important because I have 16-year-old twin boys and we've got a hockey rink out back, so I got to keep up with them. The other thing I've just noticed that I wanted to let you know, this is an update. This is new. I've never had a cavity, but my gums occasionally will get kind of sensitive because I tend to brush a little too vigorously. And in fact, the dentist, I've had a gum graft. You know, the old joke, my teeth are great, but my gums have to come out. I had a gum graft about 15 years ago, and the last 3, 4 months, the dentist said, well, we're going to have to keep an eye on your gums are receding again. And since I started on Asea, can't make any claims, but I don't have any sensitivity issues with my gums anymore. They feel firm and they're pink and healthy looking. So, for what it's worth, add that to the list of anecdotes. But that's what's happening with me right now, and I'll continue to keep you updated with what's happening with me and Asea. Now, I've been welcomed with open arms into the Asea family, and I'm slowly learning sort of the Asea family tree. Well, we're going to introduce you to someone else from the Asea family today. A couple of weeks ago, we met Cindy Buck, and today we're going to meet her husband, Bo Buck, and he'll tell us his story. Bo, welcome. How are you?
Oh, I'm doing great. Thanks, Richard. Appreciate you having me on.
I got to tell you, I love that name, Bo Buck. That sounds like a back catcher for the St. Louis Cardinals or something. A great name.
Yeah, had it since before I was born, so it's just a nickname, but that's what my dad wanted me to be called for my nickname.
It's
Oh,
so. In terms of the Asea family tree, now my understanding is that you and your wife Cindy, you introduced Asea to Debbie Wetzler, who I spoke with a couple of weeks ago, and then Debbie Wetzler introduced Asea to Dr. Silverman, who is of course on the medical board at Asea. So how did
correct.
you first become acquainted with this remarkable product over here?
Well, I tell you, we were looking for a business opportunity, and we had been in health and wellness for about a dozen years up to that point. So we wanted to stay in that arena, and we had really looked at a lot of companies. And I remember even that our good friends out of Montana had called us and talked to us about a CS, and they had sent us some product, and we tried it, and we were like, this is pool water. What the hell is this
Exactly.
stuff? And so I was working, and I'll tell you a little bit about that in a minute. But I was working long days, up at 4 in the morning, home at about 8:30 at night. And when I was leaving one morning, as I got out of bed to get in the shower, I said to Cindy, I said, "So we're not doing the pool water stuff, right?" And she said, "Yeah, no, we're not doing that." Well, lo and behold, we had seen quite a few companies, and finally Asea invited us to fly out there and meet the executive team, learn far more about the technology. And as we were there, Cindy had a product experience while we were in the room, which was interesting. And we were listening to the founder, Tyler Norton, about his experience of going from really disbelief and doubt into hope and total belief in this technology. And we were so impressed by the people that ran the organization. I mean, you can have the best products in the world, but if you have the wrong people running it, you can be in a lot of trouble. And I looked over at Cindy and just said to her, I said, "So we in or what?" And she just said, "We are so in." And our goal was to get me out of my work. And so I went back and just went to work as usual, working my 5 and 6 day weeks. Like I said, up 4:30, home 7:30, 8:30.
Is that construction, Bo?
That was construction. Yeah, I was a project manager. Actually, some very interesting jobs here in Colorado in the Roaring Fork Valley. I was actually manager for it was a replica 1860s Western town built to museum grade for a billionaire.
Wow. Very
So we had really been on high pressure situation there in terms of production. Uh, when I got on the job, it was the first one on the job site. There were two buildings there, and it was a bunkhouse and a barn. I left 2.5 years later, and we had 65 buildings, including 3 brothels, 2 bars, mercantiles, libraries, homes, Wells Fargo, gun shop. It was a pretty impressive thing. It was a lot of fun to do. But talk about building someone else's dreams and assets. Okay, this is what happened when my first career was in the seafood importing business, and I was sales in that business. And it was a $450 million company, so it wasn't small potatoes. They really moved a lot of product. And all I found was that they would continue to increase my quotas every year for the same amount of money. If you want to make the same as last year, you're going to have to sell 20% more. And after that, we'll start adding on bonuses. And for some reason, that just wasn't sitting well with me, because I really felt like I was building their company, but not getting that much out of it. As far as the construction, I loved it in terms of satisfaction at the end of the day, got something accomplished, etc. But we had no personal life. We had no social life. If I didn't make it to work, guess what? I didn't get paid. You're being paid hourly. Someone else has their hand on the faucet of your income, and you have very, very little control. And even though I was getting paid well, it was just enough to make it from paycheck to paycheck. And so we were looking for something extra, something new, and network marketing seemed like something where we could actually get involved for a very low barrier to entry in terms of capital. But all we had to do was have the energy and be willing to be coachable. And so that worked for us. And when we saw the people, met the executive team, and learned more about the technology, we were on fire. And Cindy just started working her heart out on this, and she got hold of Debbie not until about 3 months into it. We got hold of Debbie, and that was great. And Cindy would go out to Maryland all the time, which is where Debbie lived at that point, and do meetings with them and support. And that's kind of what this whole thing's about. It's about helping people to be as good or better than you, because we're going to make something off of each person that we bring in. We'll get a piece. As long as they're being successful, we'll be successful. And that's the great difference, right? That's one of the big differences in this industry, as opposed to when I was in the seafood importing business I was telling you about. They asked me to train the owner's son. I'm like, man, I'm not teaching this guy everything I know. They're just setting up the nepotistic ladder so that I will never be anything but just the peon on the bottom.
Right.
So when it comes to an industry like the network marketing industry, it made sense to us. Made total sense to us.
Right. And it was a godsend to Debbie Wetzler, as we learned. She had it rough for a while there, and it made such a huge difference. And so whether if you're looking for additional income, maybe you need to cover a house payment, or maybe you're looking to be totally self-employed, you want to investigate further and look at the opportunities that Asea can make to improve your lifestyle. Just do yourself a favor. Call the number right there on the screen, 443-254-6024, 443-254-6024, and talk to Lynn. And before you do anything, text or call Lynn, and because everybody's different. Everyone, it's not one size fits all, and she can really point you in the right direction and answer all your questions, whether you're looking to purchase some Asea, or again, whether you want to get involved in the network marketing. call Lynn. That's what I tell everybody. And also, if you're looking to buy, don't buy it from Amazon. Don't buy it, from a third party. Go to the website. It's right there on your screen. But before you do anything, text or call Lynn. She knows all. So I think you're like me, Bo. We're pretty healthy guys. It wasn't about necessarily, a health issue. But as it turns out, you had a couple of health issues that really made it difficult for you to continue to work in construction. Can you tell me about that?
That's true. It was pretty interesting. Cindy and I had decided on a number that it would take for me to get out of my job. And in, let's see, July of, I think it was 2012, we had hit that number. And so she's like, all right, you're quitting, right? And I just thought about it. I said, I'll just work till the end of the year. And then after the holidays, I won't go back. We'll pay off a little bit more, get a little bit of cushion going, and that'll be good. And then we'll work together. And she's like, all right, I'll do it. Okay. You said till we hit this number, but I'll do it till then. So what ended up happening was the very next month, we went to a family compound that we had gone to my whole life growing up in northern Michigan. And from swimming in a lake there, I contracted an inner ear virus. It attacked my inner ear. And I ended up on the floor for 11 hours vomiting, in the emergency room the next day, in the hospital for about 5 days after that. I couldn't go back to work. I couldn't go back to that job that I was getting up at 4 o'clock in the morning for. But we had started working on our plan B before we needed our plan B. And guess what? The checks were coming in from Asea because Cindy had established this foundation in the business. You mentioned two incidences. We've been in the business for about 13 years, come this May, I think it is. And 3 years ago, we had been on a vacation with Asea, where you get some rewards trips, really nice, paid for trips. And we were in Maui. And we decided to stay for a week extra afterwards. And during that extra week, I was body surfing one day, just wasn't paying attention, didn't watch the break moving into shore. And the last time I planed out, I looked down and all that was there was sand. And it slapped me down on the beach. And I found myself floating, wasn't able to move. I was paralyzed, face down in the water. And I was very, very fortunate that a retired police officer actually saw me out there and ran out and got me. And literally, I had seconds. I'm going like, holy crap, I got to hold my breath. And now I'm running out, and bang, he turned me over. And so I was super, super fortunate, but I did break my neck. I did need spinal surgery. And there was certainly, after time, I was able to walk again. But all of that time, I wasn't able to work. Cindy and I weren't working. We were concentrating on me getting back to life, per se. But as I mentioned to you earlier, every Friday our check came. And that was because we have a lot of people in our organization that do a little bit. And that's kind of what network marketing is all about. And we all help everybody do better and better as they can, depending on what they want to do and what their goals are.
Right, and there are about a half different ways to make money through Asea. So again, we won't get into all of the nitty gritty. There's great resources at the website. There's videos with charts that break it all down and make it all real simple. But again, just call Lynn 443-254-6024. The number is right there on the screen before you do anything else. And then you can go to the website, and there are some terrific videos. What kind of you and your wife Cindy are working together on this? What kind of a weekly? How many hours a week do you put into this, for example?
Well, I tell you, it varies tremendously. As you just heard, there was times when we weren't putting any hours in and we were getting paid. But when you're building this in the beginning, you're putting in, Debbie Wetzler, she did it on 20 minutes a day, but she had Cindy to send those people to. So you've got to commit certain things. You've got to understand that when you're doing this business, right now you're filling 24 hours a day, right? So what are you going to take out of that? What are you going to sacrifice or stop? And for me, it's things like simple things. unscheduled time off. In other words, the scroll hole in Facebook, watching TV, things like that. But you can literally do this business in an hour a day. And then all of a sudden, instead of just working really hard and not making that much, you're working intensely, but making enough money that maybe you could leave your job if that's what your desire is or whatever. And it would incentivize you to say, you know what, if I put twice as much time, maybe 3 hours in a day or whatever, it's one of those things you can do part-time, full-time, but you can't do sometime. Does that make sense? You can't just go down and do nothing for a long, long time. As long as you're doing something consistently, as one of the leaders in our company, Trish Wickler says, she says, 2 a day brings freedom my way. And that's just sharing this technology with people or the opportunity with people 2 a day. And out of those, many will say no, and some will say yes. And some have been praying for you to come along and say, share with you about this technology or opportunity.
You mentioned going to, I guess, Salt Lake City and meeting with the people behind Asea, and that was really the aha moment for you when you witnessed firsthand the integrity, the quality, the character of the people behind Asea. I think we've told the story a couple of times, or at least once on the program. But just if you could, what was it that you heard which really convinced you that you were at the right place and this was the product for you?
Yeah, well, I think it was just you could tell their authenticity, but they also had a moniker that they live by, which is P over C, people, purpose, product over ego and economics. And we have seen over the years many times where they could have gone left when they went right with us in the field and with their hearts and what was morally. Asea was actually offered to be purchased by a pharmaceutical company in the very beginning. And we're having a very positive response from this technology, and they had not been receiving it positive people. It changed. Their desire in the beginning was basically to flip it like a house, buy a house, add some marketing company. Is, by the way, or actually Burtis Norton had been in corporate America and actually kind of Fortune 50 corporate America, and he didn't think a whole lot about network marketing. He thought it was the type of thing you did out of the back of your car or your garage. And as the people that shared it with him said, hey, you must be living under a rock. Ever since the internet came, network marketing's been a lot different than that. And so Vertus, as he does, he's a puzzler. He did his research, and he found out that, hey, the way this started growing was on a word-to-mouth basis. So this is what we should follow at this time. And I think Cindy even shared with you a while back that, or when you guys had your meeting, that we had someone who had a prospect in Saudi Arabia, and they wanted this technology in Saudi Arabia, and they brought a huge amount of money, $25 million just so that they could rep their product, Asea, in Saudi Arabia. And Asea said, well, are you willing to do the network marketing model? And they go, what are you talking about? It's our, we're going to give you $25 million. We do with it what we want. And they said, no, we are absolutely committed to the network marketing model and the people that are in our field here today. And that, again, is just exemplary of the integrity that they have and how they've partnered with us in the field for the business.
What would you say to someone watching this video and thinking about getting involved with Asea, getting involved with network marketing?
Mm-hmm. Well, I think, first of all, network marketing is a tremendous industry, and you've got to realize if you've had positive or negative experiences, network marketing is just like anything else. So I've had very positive experiences in retail shops, and I've had very negative experiences in different retail shops. And you get the same in network marketing. In each industry, there are goods and there are bads. And I am tremendously excited to be part of the network marketing industry. It's a place where everybody can grow. People talk about it being the pyramid because the guy at the top is making the most money. We have people in our downline that make way more money than we do. And they're at the top of their own pyramid. We're at the top of our pyramid. They just happen to be in it, but they can make more. As far as with Asea, there's nothing more ethical and morally sound than being involved with helping people with something. The reason we have so many professionals in our business, in our company, is because this product cannot hurt anybody, right? It's 100% native to the body. We're not talking natural like blueberries. Your body doesn't make blueberries. Your body makes redox signaling molecules, right? So when you can be involved with something that is that, what do you call it, non-toxic, then, and so you cannot hurt anybody. The doctors are, we shall do no harm. Well, Asea doesn't do any harm. And when you can be involved with one thing that can affect so many different things in the body, with zero side effects, it's just a tremendous way to make a living. As many people say, we're sitting here making a living while making a difference. It doesn't get any better than that.
That's right.
I mean, how does it get any better than that?
When you get involved with a product that, the science behind it is truly revolutionary. I mean, this is the medical volume, scientific volumes written about redox signaling molecules. And as Dr. Silverman has said on the program and others, I mean, this is like our era's penicillin. I mean, it has that type of potential impact in the world. So, it's a great product to be involved with. And if you can make a little bit of money on the side, or a lot of money on the side, nothing wrong with that either. As a as a construction worker, I'm sure you appreciate the old saying, you got to build the ship that you sail in, and you'll never gain independence financially by lining someone else's pockets. So what better product to get behind is than Asea. Bo, great meeting you. Thank you so much for this.
Hey, thank you. I appreciate being here.
A new Richard Syrett's Strange Planet drops every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Subscribe at strangeplanetpodcast.com.